tested God. Rev and I was in Cabo, as we all know. He said, stick a sign in my yard. I did when I got back from Cabo. Just stuck it in there for sale by owner. I said, God, I said, if you want me to be in Arizona to help Rev, sell my house. So, 3 or 4 days later, I get these calls for sale by owner. The guy comes in, across the street. I said, come back. He came back, gives me an offer, same exact amount I owed on the house to pay it off. So, of course, when he left, I got mad and kicked the sign down the road and everything else, and didn't want somebody to know I was trying to sell it. Put it in the garage for another day. A few days later, I walked back in the garage, took it out. I said, sell my house for a profit. Well, Rev calls me up Monday and says, I need you in Arizona. So I get there Tuesday at, 8 o'clock in the morning, left at 5 o'clock here, I can't even remember. And I'm down there, I get 3 more phone calls. One lady calls me, I'll give you $50,000 down and pay you $2,000 or $3,000 a month, and I'm thinking, this is a joke. So anyway, it happened. I called her back. He said, this is the good one. He goes, you need to call her back right away. So the next day, I just called her out of the blue, and I simply told her, I said, I don't know if this is a testify or a prayer. The prayer is going to come after I get done testifying, so. I put the sign, like I said, back in the yard. She came in, we visited yesterday, and so forth. But as I was sitting there in Rev's kitchen with him, I spoke to her. She had said, I just called my realtor and canceled my contract with another agent in another house. And I thought, she goes, because I think this is the house I'm going to buy. Somehow on the phone, I said, you're a believer. I can feel that. And I'm sitting in the Rev's kitchen with them. I mean, there ain't no way that would have happened if that ain't testing God and that happens. It doesn't work. So anyway, flew back home, come home. I toured 3 people, started at 12 o'clock. I thought, man, this is the lady that's going to buy it. She texted me and says, I'm going to be until 2. She was supposed to be there at 1. Then she texted me and says, I'll be there at 3. And then she don't get there until 4. But in the meantime, I'm showing other people through the house. Everybody that came through the house wanted to buy the house. So, last night, she sat with me for 2 hours, and I talked to her about some things, and and told her, some things about where I'm going and why I'm going there to help Reverend Jenkins. And I've been fighting this for 3 years. And by the way, that casino that's coming in, I told Rev about it. I said, well, what do you think about that? He goes, it don't matter. You ain't going to be there anyway. So I had no idea what he meant by that. But the thing's almost done, and I'm almost out of here. So that's another story. So anyway, the lady wouldn't leave the house. It seemed like she wanted to be there. And then I started talking, and then of course, Reverend Jenkins comes, because I just told her about all of his things that he's been through and what he does and so forth. And she's an Arabic. And she said, if he can tell me something about about me, I'll buy the house. I said, oh boy. I said, you shouldn't have made that bet to myself. So of course, I said, Rev, I said, so-and-so, we've been talking, and long story short, he had told her about 23 years of her life she's not been happy. And she does not look like she's probably 40 years old, but he said something about 23 years of her life, how she's being hurt around people and how she don't trust, men or whoever she's around, and again, she's Arabic. Now remind you, she's wrapped in all this stuff. Her mother gets up, don't understand English, she gets up and goes to my desk and pulls out a tissue, a couple of them, sits back down and hands them to her. I'm waiting on her to blow her nose, nothing happened. She just holds the tissues in her hand. I handed her the phone after I told Rev what she said, again, because she had set the phone down, and it was funny because then he said something about her blood pressure. Fluctuates, she turns red and so forth, and she's concerned about it. He had told her that, and she goes, yes, that's true. And so we started talking about other things, and he goes, what is that in your left hand? And all of a sudden I looked down at her, and he goes, what's going on with your hands? And I thought, all this sweat is pouring out of her hands and into this tissue, and I'm thinking, what is that? Well, here she is sweating. And she's wrapped around all this stuff, but there ain't no way he would have known that. You know what I mean? So, and he's got this tissue in her left hand, trying to absorb the sweat coming out of her. And I just started laughing to myself, and of course she got hysterical. And she's an RN, she's a nurse, and she's concerned about her blood pressure, and she should know what to do with it. Either lose weight or eat right, or one of the other things. So anyway, she would not leave me alone. She texted me all the way home. She goes, I have it saved back there on my phone. I really want to buy this house. Please don't get rid of it. And they're Arabic, and she's trying to talk and understand and all this stuff. And I told her I wanted 160, then down to 150. Rev says offer 145, and she'll do it and take $2,500 a month, and it's over. And I'm leaving all my furniture there. Talk about leaving things. I'm leaving everything in there. So, a lot of nice stuff. Leaving it with the place. And so anyway, I believe today, about 7:30, that's the deal. It's going to happen. And when that happens, I'm out of here. So, I guess that I know where my journey is supposed to be. I don't know why yet. I still don't understand it, but that's where I'm heading. And everything worked out right. Antonio's going to the military. Everybody's graduating. Everything's going to hit right, you know. So it wasn't by my plan, but I did test God, put the sign in the yard, and it sold. There ain't no way that can happen. I kicked it twice and got mad about it because it was just for what I owed. And sitting down there in Arizona talks about gifts and spiritual gifts. You know, I walk in the office, Rev's getting these air conditioning things fixed, 2 of them are broke, and I'm sitting there. And I leave Mary's office with the estimate. I said, I have it, Mary, because you shouldn't handle this, handle the book stuff, and I'll handle, not that women shouldn't handle, I'll handle the men things. And I took it away from her, sat in the desk. I ended up sitting in Rev's desk in his chair, and he sits in front of me, the guy giving estimates, and we started talking, and he started talking about, you know, all the condensers and the, you know, the fan motors, and I said, I understand. I said, the ones have pits in the holes in the coils, don't they? And he goes, yeah. So I was on the same lingo that he knew that I know about construction, which is good. And I'm glad I have a little bit of knowledge in a lot of different areas. Today, and I've talked to Rev about this, I said, today you need to know more than just one thing if you want to survive so people don't take advantage of you. So you can't know just one thing in your area. So I'm sitting there and I just started zoning out. Like he talked about getting in the spirit, and I just started zoning out. And I started explaining why Rev, what he does and everything about it, and this, that, and the other. And the guy says, I was going to go out there and write an estimate. I said, okay. He came back in 35 minutes later. I thought, what in the world would he be doing out there for 35 minutes writing a little bit of a thing? So I thought, you're out there smoking cigarettes. So he's out there smoking cigarettes. Well, he came back in. I told him, I said, smoking, really isn't any good, you know? And I knew that he smoked because you can smell that. And I said, you won't want those pretty soon. I said, hopefully you'll get rid of that stuff. And just things that I was saying to him about Rev's gift. And then I said, I don't even understand things about what I know about people. I can't even explain it. It just happens, and I keep remembering God gives me the word to speak through me to give you the word to say, and it happens. And so anyway, we're sitting there, and I stood up, and I said, it's like your experiences you're going to have too. I said, like those car accidents. I said, not one, but 2. And he just looked at me and he goes, man, you just made the hair on my neck stand up. He goes, I took and rolled over my car 6 or 7 times. And anyway, I just started coming out of me. Didn't understand it. Again, it started coming through me. I said, when you go back out to your van, I said, there'll be 7 cigarettes in your pack. I said, make sure you count them when you come back in. So he came back in and handed the estimate. Rev's sitting there, and I'm sitting in Mary's chair now. And Kane, the guy that does the filming in Arizona, was standing there. And he walked in, and he didn't say nothing. He started talking, and Rev started talking. And he goes, I said, oh, by the way, I said, how many cigarettes were in your pack out there? He goes, man, that is crazy. I forgot to tell you, there was exactly 7 in there. I said, well, that's God's perfect number. I said, well, hopefully you'll know when you not to smoke that. And Rev started laughing, and he started talking about something. He goes, well, you need to listen to him. So anyway, Lily calls me up 2 days prior. 7 is God's perfect number, is that right?
Yep.
Lily calls me up 2 days before that. And oh, well, we had this thing come in the mail for our bank, and blah, blah, blah. And then she opens it up. It was a check from the state. I said, oh, okay. I said, how much was it? And she goes, $777. I said, huh? So I heard 7 here, the gifts, 777 on my check, 7 cigarettes, and just all these 7s are coming up around me. I told her to hurry up and go play the lottery. No offense, Bob. Go play the lottery.